go. May you shine always. May your glass be full of wine always. May you eat, may you dine always. May you always have love, and if you lost, may you find your way. For through the dark there is a brighter day. So may you shine and be a light always. May you shine and be a light always.
Welcome to another episode of Gems and Lies, the show where I, your host, tell you all the gems in a movie and all the lies, or speculate, in my genius opinion. Now, today's movie we will be going over is Black Panther, and I like this movie a lot, so I'm excited. There's a lot to go over on this movie. So once again, the live classes will be more in depth. But now, for the show. Black Panther. Alright, let's begin. If you haven't seen the movie, obviously go watch the movie and come back and watch this. Or if you don't think you will, then watch this anyway. It's interesting. But it's a good movie, I must say. Now, for the gems. We will begin with the gems, and then we will go into the lies. So, the gems. We will start with... Let's see. Yeah. Great movie. Representing for... I got a lot for this movie. So... Great movie, represented for black people everywhere. That was great, especially in Hollywood, since that's lacking representation, as everyone knows, for all people of color, really. And diversity, different walks of life, whatnot, aside from the cookie cutter mold, as they say. And there's nothing wrong with doing whatever you want to do, leading your life how you will, as long as everyone else is free to do so without harm to anyone, I believe. And I'm going to go ahead and say that's a great way to go about things. So, point being, good movie. Representing for black people, great. All walks of life. Awesome. Showed vision for another world where it's not even another world, it's just the real world, where places where black people are considered just people as opposed to black people. You know, it's a broader world view, and it's healthy for America to see, and all of the world to see, really, as black people is just, just people like everyone, as are we all. Now, so representing, great job. Africa, the movie starts out, Africa, birth of life. Another gem, great stuff. All true. Africa, birth of life, resources, rich in gold, minerals, all this, even your iPhones and all these minerals, all found in Africa. Very rich in resources. So the world is definitely advanced via Africa. Of course, it went over the Wakanda. It called it Wakanda, but it was actually drawing on real life, obviously. From the history of Wakanda in Africa, birth of life, and then the resources, the history, Africans traveling around the world, first to circumnavigate the globe, helping people worldwide, as evidenced by different pyramids around the world. You see, so evidence of people from Africa circumnavigating as life comes from Africa, and that's a whole nother awesome history of humanity. Traveling around the world and helping people of Africa's history. Every nation has a history, of course. Humanity has one history. Now, Africa, great. Rich in resources, traveled around the world, circumnavigated around the globe, helping people. And then, let's see. And then things went, the world went out of control. Actually, that's where it branched off and said Wakanda went underground. That's actually where the great betrayals took place. And lots of, the African empire fell, and, the history after that. The princes became slaves, and we are still in history and doing well, I would say, as far as history is concerned when you look at things. So very strong. So well done. Stay strong. So that was a gem, the whole history of the world, and then it says Wakanda went underground. So that was a little gem of the world history. And then next gem, the Claw. This is actually a tangent off of that gem, the world history and all the resources. The Claw, the bad guy, the bad white guy, or the white bad guy, what have you. He gives the speech in this movie, and he says, "What if I told you that the third world was rich in resources? What if I told you that the third world was rich in resources and blah blah blah, and like this, the Wakanda is rich in resources, the third world, that Wakanda is rich in resources and has all this stuff." And it's like he's giving the speech, right? But it's like, what if I told you that Africa was rich in resources and like the richest country in the world, and that Haiti was rich in resources, like another very rich country, sugar and other resources, and Africa obviously gold and etc. But yeah, all of these third world countries known for poverty, yet are the richest countries on the planet, being essentially taken advantage of. Just I didn't want to, just being raped, really. So that's unfortunate. So we should all turn our attention to that truth. And that was a truth in the movie. The guy's like, "What if I told you?" And he was talking about Wakanda, they're underground, but this is really a truth. Like, that's a real thing. Like, Africa, very wealthy. It's being built up right now while it gets colonized. But that's what's great about this movie. It shows the unity of the potential of the African empire, of the world, really, to go back to where it was when everyone had an empire, profiting and whatnot. So it's a great vision. Let's see. So that was Claw's little speech. The bad guy gave a truth. I like that. Let's see. Warrior. The next up, the warrior woman. The women in general. The espionage. Black Panther's potential. Well, his lover, his girlfriend in the movie, his love interest in the movie, and the other one, the strong woman with the spear. Like, she's the warrior leader, and the other one's the espionage on the low, hot versus cold energy, kind of hot versus cool energy kind of thing. So you got the warrior, the hardcore warrior woman, the general woman, leading all of the other warrior women. That's cool. That's a femme fatale thing. The whole lethal woman thing. Martial arts goes back, all these styles that women developed. So women are definitely respected in that realm of warrior status among those in the know. Let's see. The part where the warrior, the woman with the spear, is talking about she has a wig on. She's going in undercover, and has a wig. And the espionage girl, the spy girl, she's all happy about it. She's having fun. And the other woman, she usually has a shaved head, so she's going with a wig to fit into European society, or the club scene, which is a European casino. It looks like, run wherever they are, Japan or what have you, China. I don't know. But anyway, point is, she's trying to fit into European society, and she's has a wig on. She's talking about, "Oh, this is a disgrace. This wig is a disgrace." And the espionage girl's like, "Oh, just have fun with it." You know what I mean? So that's a thing where the wig, she makes a comment on the wig, and that's a cultural thing where black girls tend to, the whole American thing about the natural black hair being a bad hair, versus all this other hair and wigs and whatnot. And it's a lot of it encourages self-hatred as opposed to self-love. And my views on that thing is the whole, like I say, I'm not going to tell you what to do as a woman. Do what you want to do, obviously. But I will say, love yourself first. Love yourself first, and then after that, have fun with whatever styles you want to try out, as long as it's not coming from a place of self-hatred, as long as it's coming from a place of loving. You love yourself, you want to have fun. I personally love all hair. It's just love yourself, because it's beautiful. I will say it's the only hair that can't be imitated via chemicals or what have you, still via technology. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, just be yourself. It's a good thing. It's a great thing. Love yourself first. Then have fun. Or mess around. Loving yourself is fun. Trust me. Even though I'm so humble, I admit I love myself, and it's not something that I like to talk about, being as humble as I am. Just how lovable I am. It's amazing. But I'm humble, so I'm not going to talk about it because I'm a humble guy. Okay? But love yourself. Seriously. You won't regret it. I guarantee you. Now, next gem. That was a good gem. She was speaking truth about America and black love. That's the next one. Black love. That was great. Not often in Hollywood do you see black lovers or two African people of African descent in a loving relationship on the screen. It's an interesting dynamic, usually what takes place on the screen. But this here is a great little thing played between the two. They have a cute little love affair thing, and he has to focus, don't freeze, that whole thing. It's like, oh, that's cute. You know what I mean? They're doing their little love thing. It's great. So yeah, that was cool. And he's having the whole be a good king and stuff, and she's encouraging that, giving the feminine energy. And so it shows that, like, the queen energy, the king energy. She's a espionage. She's a warrior in her own right, doing her own thing. But he's doing his thing, and maybe they can have a little. Maybe they can get their love together and build an empire and whatnot. And it's great. And Hollywood rarely shows that among people of African descent. The commercials and whatnot, and it's usually not that. But anyway, that's a beautiful little thing. And love is great. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. I have so many gems on this movie. I actually have a separate thing on Killmonger, the bad guy. I have a whole another separate gems on Killmonger, because this character was awesome. In my opinion, the best part of the movie. Just because I think he's what most people resonated with this movie. Everything, just the truth. But he was the one coming with like the unapologetically Africa, just like, boom, this is the truth. This is the truth. I'm not apologizing for any of this. He was coming at everyone. He was even coming at T'Challa and everyone about the Black Panther about that. So, he kept it real with everybody, and that's, you got to respect it. So, now, he is the villain in the movie, and we will talk about this in the gems. On Killmonger, art theft, it starts off. I believe it introduces him there when he's stealing art. Well, he's reclaiming it, really, as he puts it. And technically, yes. So he comes into the museum and he says, I'm reclaiming this because this is all African art. And that's actually a statement on the current issues in Europe with the museums and European museums holding African artifacts and whatnot, and the whole glorification of all that in Indiana Jones, have fun and stuff. But at the end of the day, if you went into someone else's country and took their stuff, and it's the 21st century, we're all civilized people, we can admit that we can appreciate each other's culture. So there's a whole thing going. Well, there was a whole thing. They said they were going to send the art back, and they said they needed time to package it correctly, even though Amazon 2 days, what? Okay, but anyway, it's excuses. But that was a real statement on the current state of the world, in the art world, at least, in the world period, really, awakening to truth. So he made a real statement, took the art, took the other thing just because of sentimental value. He was like, nah, I just like it, and that's another statement, sentimental value. It's priceless, If you can make something, you can make your own shirt or whatever, like Nipsey Hussle was talking about. You can make your own shirts. That's priceless. It's not Louis Vuitton or whatever, but it doesn't matter. It's yours. What's worth more than that? Know your worth. Let's see. So the art theft, that was cool. Real statement. And then he makes a statement, next gem on Killmonger. He makes a statement to T'Challa when he's accusing him of being a lazy king and not defending the people of the world. He says, "Aren't you the king of all people?" Africa's the start of all people, and this is Wakanda. It's the most powerful nation on the world. Y'all been undercover. Aren't you the king of all people? And T'Challa, I felt like he kind of copped out, saying, "No, I'm just the king of Wakanda." And the movie made a statement about them copping out, kind of, but that was actually another statement on returning Killmonger's idea of returning the African empire to greatness, and because they have all these resources, that people just aren't awake to, and making the world a profitable place where everybody can do trade, where Africa was like the epicenter of the world, like New York is in America now, good trade back in the day when it was when it was balance. It's all about balance, I feel. And so if we can get balance, even go forward, forget about past, but you can't forget the past if you're trying to go forward, of course, but know your past and go forward. And balance is key and always the objective, inevitable, really. So he makes the statement, "Aren't you the king of all people?" And he kind of Panther kind of cops out about that, but that was the vision that the guy was talking about, like Africa being the epicenter of the world. Now, another gem on Killmonger, he was also talking about, the character itself is a statement on the African Americans, the issue of abandonment issue that comes up when between African Americans and Africans from Africa, as we are all from Africa, of course. Therein lies the abandonment issue, and it's a big statement that's said that Africa abandoned the American Africans and the African Americans, and during the war, slave trade and all this, and crimes were committed, but it's not true in the way that it's usually presented. They have a statement in the John Wick 2 movie where the guy is talking about trying to free his people under the mafia law, the European mafia law, and the chick is talking about, "Oh no, they had a choice. We didn't threaten to kill them, we just threatened to kill their children. We held the knives to their children's throats, and so we feel that's a good deal." And so in this, that's the statement that is not usually made. That was actually admitting to the dilemma that the Africans had, helping slavers to hunt down their enemies and whatnot, or their, you don't even know your neighbors and whatnot because they got the knife to your children's throats. But once again, history allows us to learn, and now Africa is actually offering passage to people. Ghana, I believe, is starting a program, or has a program. Do your own research, of course, but I've been doing some research and plan to do more on that. And Africa has also said they want to help out with reuniting with all of the children of African descent. So that's a cool thing. So that's they call that the forced labor back in the slave trade starting. Again, Black America, and another statement from that whole history, everybody fought colonization. Like Haiti fought colonization. Union fait la force. That means in unity is strength. So that's what that is. Unity. So, so Haiti fought colonization. Jamaica fought it. Slavery, colonization, slavery. Africa fought it as well, but Haiti was, of course, the first to free themselves from slavery, but they suffered financially from that. So, and they're on an island, so it's not as much resources as a land mass as great as America. So, Black America actually, through all of their tribulations, it's like a slavery war. It's like people trying to free themselves. So everyone has their own. Everyone got thrown in their own different war zones, really. You got Haiti slavery plantations, you got Jamaica slavery plantations, you got American slavery plantations, where the other island, the Caribbean people, were being sent to after being sent to the Caribbean, which were more, they were breaking slaves there and whatnot. Not that they weren't everywhere with Willie Lynch and whatnot, but anyway, that was the path the slaves took to America. And then you had the American war zone, really, where the slaves were being abused and black people were being abused, and genocides and whatnot were being committed against them. So in Black America, we now in Black America have resources because it wasn't expected. And we have resources that the people in those other colonies don't have. Haiti doesn't have those resources. Jamaica doesn't have the same resources. Even Africa is getting attacked so bad they don't have the same resources as America does. And as Americans, as African Americans, we have resources now, American resources, despite all attempts against that. And it's a time where we can be the ones to actually be the little brother, if you will, who steps up and helps out with the entire operation of raising the African empire back to its previous glory, and the world to its previous glory, really. So just helping out with that and staying strong, because like I said, everybody needs their own empire to be respected. China has theirs, everybody has their empire, but Africa, that needs to be respected. Just like everyone else needs to be respected. When something happens to a black person in the street, it needs to be, an announcement has to be made the same way for China, the same way for everybody, and it's not fair for anybody yet, really, for anyone being abused. So that needs to be accomplished, and that is our goal as humanity. So point being, Black America has resources now. So think about that when you think about Africa and the connection between our relatives worldwide. Your power, despite how powerless you might feel. In capitalist society, there is potential to free yourself in ways that other people in the world are not able. Land of opportunity. A lot of traps along the way, but still opportunities. So stay strong. So that is the Killmonger that's what I got out of the Killmonger talking about, where were y'all? While I was surviving in America, So everyone was going through their thing, trust. That's history too. Let's see. The short spear, another gem on Killmonger, probably my favorite one. The short spear in the fight that he has with the Black Panther, when they have their standoff for the throne, he takes a spear and he looks at it and he breaks it. He breaks it on his knee, and he tries it out. And he's like, "Yeah, I like that." So that's a short spear, and that weapon actually has a history. That's a reference to, I believe that's a reference anyway. The story of the Buffalo Soldier, and the Buffalo Soldiers. It's a Bob Marley song too. He made a reference to them, and they were a whole group of African slaves who were brought over by Europeans once again during all the trading in Buffalo, all kinds of death, but war and whatnot. So they were brought over, and the Buffalo Soldiers were respected by the Native Americans because they called them Buffalo Soldiers. They named them this because the Africans would use every part of the buffalo, just like the Native Americans did. And they respected that because, once again, the Africans were used to having to utilize every part of the animal, just like on the plantation, etc. Because it was a slave trade. Everywhere was a plantation if you were being slaved around. So the Buffalo Soldiers, they got respect from the Native Americans because they utilized every part of the buffalo when they were around there. And then there was one who was trained by his mother, they were free. So he was trained by his mother. She taught him how to use the short spear. That was his chosen weapon. And the short spear, his mother taught him. Just comes back to the warrior woman, the warrior female, during that time where all the men were being killed off, similar to all the men being put in jail and whatnot. And you have the women stand alone. A lot of complexes, like the women got to stand alone and raise the kid because everyone else is getting killed or put away. So in this situation, the woman, the warrior woman, she trained her child with the short spear, and he was like this deadly warrior. He could kill anyone, taught him to kill anyone who would try to enslave him. So it was a legendary story with the short spear from the Buffalo Soldiers. So that was cool, where they had Killmonger use that. I thought that was awesome. Let's see. So that is, I believe, almost all on my Killmonger truths. There was one more Killmonger truth where the character he had to the CIA, the white friend CIA guy, he says to the Black Panther or somebody he's talking to about Killmonger, his sister, I believe, he says, "Hey, this guy, we own this guy. Like that's ours. So I'm CIA. Like we notice how he says he's ours. You know what I'm saying? Like that's our boy." So little things, you know, but that's how they talk. That's the mentality. Like that's our boy. So, and respect to all true warriors. Make sure you're respected. So, the CIA guy says, "Yeah, that's our boy." So he's talking about the Killmonger, and he says, "We trained him to destroy. This is CIA tactics. This is what we do. We go in, we cause an insurgence, or we disrupt the government, or we go in and we make trouble, and we make sure that nobody can get stabilized, and we destroy everything. We take over, we destroy it, we get what we want." And that's what we taught Killmonger to do. That's why he went in and he burned everything that could even threaten any other future successors. Like it kills the line. It goes against the entire natural course of nature. So that's what CIA trained their operative to do, and that was the truth that the this white CIA guy told the Black Panther. He is a CIA agent, so I can't call him a friend in this movie, honestly. Even I'll get to that. So it was a truth that he told nonetheless. I like it. Now on to the lies. The first lie, again, the CIA, the best friend, so the best friend CIA agent of the Black Panther. This is the fact that you have a CIA agent as a best friend for the Black Panther is a slap in the face to every Black Panther, every real Black Panther ever to serve the people, die for the people, be killed and betrayed by CIA, FBI, Alphabet Boy operatives. So that's a slap in the face to the Black Panthers. And not to mention, this movie is based on the Black Panthers and the civil rights movement, the human rights movement, as the Panthers would probably say, because it's about human rights, being treated as a human. It's a United Nations issue, the Black Panthers said, which people should still take into consideration. So, having a CIA best friend for the Black Panther, it hurt to see, honestly, knowing the Black Panther's real history. So that's the first lie. The next lie, black ownership versus distribution. So in Hollywood, every time a movie with black people comes out, everyone says, "Oh, it's a black-owned studio. The black people own it. It's great. It's, you know, yeah, Hollywood's equal and all this." Okay, so here's what you need to understand. It's great that black people own their own studios. Just like with music and everything, you can make your own movie, you can make your own album. However, if the Europeans, if white people if their culture owns the entire distribution system, you can't make a movie and get distributed unless a white person in a studio clears it in a distribution, in a theater who owns distribution. So it's important to recognize that people who make movies about black culture still have to go. They don't have to as much anymore because technology is advancing, and this is what we should support: the fact that people are of African descent are making movies like this that speak truth to different cultures, to their culture, and that's what makes it's supposed to be what makes America great, is the combination of cultures. So if you have to go to someone else to make a movie about your culture because a statement makes someone uncomfortable with something, it's more difficult. So just understand that distribution is a thing for artists of African descent, and artists of African descent should really support the distribution with the new technology. If you see something on Amazon by a guy who made a good movie you like, then that's great. Support it. Don't not support it just because it's not in a theater or brought to you by Warner Brothers or something. You know, maybe they didn't clear it because once again, black people don't have as much distribution yet. But this is a financial thing, and now we have some money, so we're working towards that. You know, in America, not half as much, not any money in comparison to what is owed, of course. But that's another topic. Let's see, distribution. It's all connected, of course. So, support distribution is my point. A movie came out called American Skin. That was a good movie. I believe it was on Amazon. So that was an example of a movie that didn't get cleared in the theaters, even though it made statements like this movie that are true to all cultures from a African descent, African American point of view, which is what made this movie so popular, the diversity. Now, so distribution versus ownership, it's good to be able to decipher if people are making claims in the media. The activism, another lie. It's too much activism in the media or white media, which is media that isn't, it's the media, you know. So the activism, the whole Marvel made a Black Panther movie, so now they're activists and stuff. It's like, dude, it's cool that Stan Lee made a movie, rest in peace. It's cool that he made a movie about the Black Panthers and the Generation X and all that. It's inspirational, but that doesn't make people activists just because they made some money off of an inspirational thing. I'm just going to say that. And the X-Men, for example, you know, the X-Men is literally taken from Generation X, as in Malcolm X, Generation X. So why aren't the X-Men black? Like, why isn't that another black comic book? You know what I mean? Like, why aren't all the X-Men black since they are Generation X? You know what? As opposed to having one token black chick as per the norm. You know what I mean? So that's a question for Marvel. Let's see. And I'm all about my comics, as you can see. Now, next lie is Malcolm versus Martin Luther King. Malcolm X versus Martin Luther King. And that's a classic Hollywood thing because you always have to pit two alpha black males against each other. You know, that was the main issue I had with this movie because Hollywood can't admit that Malcolm X and Martin Luther King agreed with each other before the end, you know. So Hollywood likes to point them out as extremists, each one of them. Like, they like to present Martin Luther King as an extreme pacifist, like extremist. Don't defend yourself or anything. Very extreme. They like to, Malcolm X as extreme violence, you know, violence, period. And it's like, no, there was logic to that, self-defense, you know. So both were logical men. Even Martin Luther King believed in self-defense. So they don't promote that, but because it's media, once again. So you have to do your own research sometimes when you're looking into inspirational people, because they don't always tell you everything about them. Just pick and choose little details and try to make them into a statue or something, not a living person. Let's see. Someone said fame is a sarcophagus. Let's see. The ultimate fear, I'm trying to find my last notes. The ultimate fear on this is black unity. That's the reason they pit the two black men against each other, because if they actually came together, which is why they, like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were about to do, come together and say, hey, boom, let's work together. Both of our ideologies can actually mesh with the nonviolence as, you know, love is the priority. You know, that's the hope. We always want peace. You know, that's what our objective is heaven on earth. However, if anyone brings harm upon you without just cause, defend yourself. And this is balance. So every time it comes up, it's always an extremist argument with the media. But do your own research, and you will see the truth. You will find the truth for yourself. And if you want to come here for the truth as well, I'm all about that. Let's see. So the ultimate fear in that was black unity. And keeping the alpha males pinned against each other, similar to keeping them from uniting, just like the Bloods and the Crips, like Nipsey Hussle and Tupac, they were uniting the Bloods and the Crips, and then they got killed, you know. So the fear is the uniting, the everyone, you know, Latin kings and everyone, like all the people, all the empires having their empires, and back to the balance where everyone is respected. So, this is the fear of the system that would keep you in bondage. Now, the last note on a lie I believe I have is, oh yeah, the end of the movie. The Black Panther flies in and he says, I'm going to change my ways after Killmonger dies. And they made Killmonger go extreme because, like I said, they have to pit him against it. His ideal was fine. And then out of nowhere, he holds a lady up and like, oh, I'm going to kill you now. And it's like, okay, you made him go extreme because it was made too much sense, right? But it's a movie. I'm down. He was CIA trained. I'll go with it. Like Shakespeare says, judge not too harshly our play, something to that effect. But still, the truth and the lies must be, the truth must be seen. The gems must be seen. The lies must be exposed. Now, yes, Black Panther flies in to L.A. and he says, I'm going to buy a couple buildings, right? He says, I bought this building and I bought this building. And it's like, word? It's like, okay, so this is the richest guy on the planet, right? He just revealed to everybody. He just pulled the whole Marvel I am Iron Man thing, like, except I'm 10 times richer than Iron Man because I can make him 1,000 new suits that'll actually work if he tries to, you know, go against someone as powerful as myself. So he has all these resources, right? The most powerful resources. And he flies into LA. He says, I decided to help all black people now. I'm going to help everybody now. Just because Killmonger opened my eyes, even though he was a little extreme, he opened my eyes to this truth. So I'm going to do it. Flies into LA, says, I'm going to buy this building and this building. And I started a little activity center. And it's like, what, bro? It's like, you're the richest dude on the planet. Like, why didn't you buy Brooklyn? Like, why didn't you buy back Brooklyn? And it's just like, it made it look like some reparations puff piece. You know what I mean? Like, oh, look, we bought a building for some poor people. And it's like, maybe 2 will make it out of the ghetto. Maybe 2 will make it out of the death camps. And, you know, good for you, Hunger Games. And let's see. So it just made it look like that. It's just like, look, I'm Oprah. I bought a couple of schools. You know, that's great. It's like, dude, you're the Black Panther. Aren't you like make Tony Stark look like a broke dude? Like, come on, man. Like, it's great. But it's the classic media thing. It's a classic media thing where the strong black man or the strong black person is allowed to exist in the spotlight as long as they do a minimal amount for black people. Like, as long as it's like not too much, not too upward movement. You know, don't want to upset the equation. Don't want to upset the equation that keeps everybody where they're at. So you got strong black men doing practically nothing, like, or advertising it, like Jordan in that one documentary talking about, hey, Republicans buy Jordans too, so I'm not going to do nothing. Like, what's that? You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, anyway, I am a Muhammad Ali fan personally because what he said about the Vietnam War and what he did for, like, he didn't care about the check. You know what I mean? He was like, yo, this is honor. This is honorable. This is why I'm not going to do what you want me to do because I'm an honorable dude and I'm my own man. So shout out to Muhammad Ali. That's a sports legend. So, and I got hope for everybody, yeah. I want all my heroes to rise. Which is the issue with unless they're not my heroes. You know, that's the whole thing, man. Like, the issue with superheroes. That's what I feel like with superheroes in general. When I grew up, I realized that all of these superheroes, their job, that's a wrap on Black Panther, by the way, but this is a little extra on superheroes. Black Panther, great movie. Gems and lies, now you know, and that's my opinion on it. But superheroes in general, their job, I find, is to keep society as it is. Superman is a glorified cop. Batman is a glorified cop. The job of a superhero is to work yourself out of a job. That's the point. Like, you have these powers to affect change. So the point is to come in and work yourself out of a job. If you're Superman, like, why aren't the wars over? Why is there still starvation? Why can't you plant 1,000 fields everywhere like that? And if anybody tries to stop you, like on all this world control corporate stuff, you can't plant your own food. If anyone tries to say that's not cool, they can do that. Why? Because it's freedom. And that's what I'm about, because I'm Superman, and I'm all about taking people to their highest potential. Instead of, here you go, officer, here's a criminal. Yeah, he was probably a bad guy, like you told me. Like, in his defense, he was raised on a farm and taught whatever American society is taught. And there are two societies in America, of course. White America and Black America, never more divided than on Sunday. So we should talk about that as well in the future. But that's my issue with superheroes. I'm going to do a whole thing, probably another set on all these superheroes and the issues I take with them, and the fact that there's still the same problems. Batman just hands them off to the cops. Like, dude, aren't you a billionaire? Like, why don't you pump some money into the streets, pump some programs in there so that the criminals don't have to work for these shady dudes like Penguin and whatnot, because they're desperate, and then they can have that. You can go take Penguin out because, you know, he's a bad dude. He's already rich. He's still doing bad stuff. Take him out. Let those cats do work for Wayne Manor or whatever. You can be you're Batman. Like, do something cool instead of just going around kicking broke guys' butts on the street just because your parents got shot, and like their parents didn't get shot, like their brother didn't get shot. Anyway, I'm going to talk to Bruce and Clark and all them cats later at Marvel. I'm going to come see y'all. But for now, Marvel Black Panther, that was that. Beautiful Empire Initiative. This has been Gems and Lies. I'm your host. Remember, unity is strength. Union fait la force. And peace. Peace to all. Oof. Outro. Peace. Can you hear my outro music? We don't need no outro music. Peace.